Have you ever stopped to think about what your cat sees when they lock eyes with you? It might sound like a simple question, even a curious one, but the answer holds something much deeper than most people expect. Because to your cat, you are not just a figure with 2 arms and 2 legs. It's not your height, your voice, or even your appearance that defines what you mean. Their gaze goes beyond what's visible, and what they find is far more beautiful than any reflection in a mirror. In a cat's mind, relationships are not built through appearance, but through sensation. You are not labeled as human, animal, or anything else that we use to make sense of the world. To your cat, you are simply the safest place in their existence, the space where they feel allowed to be themselves, without fear, without tension, without hiding. And that's why, when they look at you, they're not seeing what you think you're showing. They're feeling who you really are. 1. Your face isn't the reference. Many people assume that cats recognize their humans the same way we recognize each other, by facial features. But the reality is different. A cat doesn't need to see your face to know it's you. They don't care about photos or reflections. What they respond to are the invisible signals you emit. Your scent, the way you move, the emotional vibration you carry. They recognize you like you recognize a familiar melody, by the feeling it stirs inside. If tomorrow you completely changed your appearance, your cat would still know you. Not because they understand shapes or colors like we do, but because they perceive the unique energy that radiates from you. To them, your presence isn't physical, it's emotional. And if you believe that this kind of quiet love deserves to be seen, take a moment to subscribe to our channel. You're not just joining a page, you're joining a family of people who truly understand what it means to be chosen by a cat. 2. You're a refuge, not a species. Cats don't categorize based on species. It doesn't matter if you're a human, a cat, a dog, or something else entirely. What matters is what you represent in the emotional landscape. Their world is divided into 2 categories: safe and unsafe, familiar and unfamiliar. And if you belong to the safe side, that's all that matters. You become the place they run to when the noise gets too loud, when the world feels too big, or when they simply want to rest. They don't see you as a human. They feel you as the one who brings silence to their chaos. You are, for them, the balance point between fear and peace. 3. Your actions are interpreted as language. When a cat wraps their tail around your ankle, nudges your chest with their head, or gently brushes their nose against your fingers, they're speaking to you. These gestures are not random or instinctual. They are deeply intentional. In the feline world, such behaviors are reserved for those they've accepted into their closest emotional circle. That means they're not mistaking you for another cat. They're accepting you as part of their inner world. You're not a visitor. You've been chosen. And in a cat's heart, to be chosen means more than any word or label could ever explain. 4. They invent a way to talk just to you. Interestingly, adult cats hardly ever meow to each other. Vocalizing is not a typical social tool in their world. But something changes when it comes to you. Over time, cats have developed specific sounds to communicate with the humans they care about. Not out of need, but by choice. Because you didn't understand their silence, they decided to meet you halfway. So when your cat meows at the door, responds when you call, or uses a sound they never use with anyone else, that's not noise. That's a bridge they built just for you. A sound that belongs only to your connection. 5. They see you as the figure who never left. When a kitten feels safe, they seek the warmth of their mother. That secure space for feeding, comfort, and unconditional presence. As cats grow older, many of those emotional behaviors transfer to the one who now fulfills that role. And in most cases, that someone is you. When your cat curls up on your chest, needs your skin, licks your hand, or follows you from room to room, they're not being clingy. They're repeating what they once did with the one who made them feel safe. But it's not out of neediness. It's recognition. You've become what once was their greatest source of peace. Not because you nursed them, but because you've given them calm, routine, and unwavering presence. 6. Around you, they become a kitten again. Have you ever noticed how your grown-up cat sometimes acts like a tiny kitten when they're around you? The moment you walk into the room, they start purring. They flop onto their back, exposing their belly, or they gently lick your fingers with those delicate sandpaper kisses. What you're witnessing isn't regression, It's trust at its most pure form. In front of others, your cat may seem poised, mature, even distant, but when it's just the two of you, they let their guard down. They don't need to be alert or proud or strong. They allow themselves to be vulnerable. To them, you represent a time when they were fully cared for, completely safe, and entirely loved. Around you, they don't have to be grown. They can just be, completely and openly. 7. You're not a species to them. You're a presence. Yes, your cat notices you're different. You don't have fur, you don't smell like a feline, and you certainly don't walk on 4 legs. But that doesn't mean they categorize you as separate. In their eyes, identity isn't defined by biology. It's shaped by feeling. Your cat connects with your rhythm, the way you walk across the floor, the tone of your voice, especially when it softens just for them, the quiet energy you bring into a room. These are the things they recognize. They don't need you to look like them. They only need to feel what you bring into their space. That's what makes you familiar. That's what makes you home. So when your cat closes their eyes slowly while looking at you, or curls up near your chest, or waits patiently outside the bathroom door, they're not analyzing what you are. They're responding to who you are. 8. They read the state of your heart. Cats are more attuned to emotional shifts than most people realize. Over time, they learn to feel your moods, not by analyzing your words, but by sensing subtle changes in your energy. They know when your steps grow slower, when your voice lowers, when you spend more time staring out a window than speaking. They don't ask questions. They don't demand explanations. They just stay. They might sit closer than usual. They might quietly follow you from one room to another. They may lie beside you, silent and still. Not to fix anything, but to remind you that you're not alone. To your cat, love isn't loud. It's not built on conditions. It's a quiet loyalty, an unwavering presence. 9. Their quirks are emotional invitations. When your cat drags a sock into the room, or sprawls across your laptop while you work, or gently places a paw on your hand while you're lying in bed, that's not random. That's not instinct. It's communication. Cats don't always show affection the way we expect. But in their world, these small acts are big gestures. A dropped toy is an offering. A paw on your chest is a request to be noticed. A tail flicked against your leg is a soft, "I'm here." These behaviors are their way of bridging the emotional gap between species. They're not demanding attention. They're inviting you in, into their space, into their rhythm, into their life. 10. You're their bonded partner. In the feline world, bonded pairs are inseparable. They groom one another. They nap curled into a perfect circle. They share silence without discomfort. And when your cat displays those same patterns with you, it's no accident. When they wait at the door while you're gone. When they press their body into your side every night. When they follow you without making a sound. That's devotion, not convenience. You're not just the person who fills their food bowl. You're the one they trust with their silence. You're the one they choose again and again, without conditions. This type of bond can't be bought or forced. It's built in the quiet repetition of everyday love, in the safety they've tested 1,000 times. To your cat, you are not one of many. You are the one. 11. Their world spins around you. It's often said that cats are territorial, and it's true, but not just in the physical sense. Their true territory isn't the chair they nap on, or the windowsill they patrol. It's emotional. It's relational. They lay on your clothes because they smell like reassurance. They sleep in your bed not because it's soft, but because it holds your presence. They meow at the door not just because they want it open, but because that's where they last felt you. The space they claim the most is the one where your essence lingers. You're not just part of their surroundings, you are the heart of it. A room feels different without you in it, and when you return, it becomes whole again. 12. They don't need to know your story. They understand your silence. Your cat doesn't know what broke your heart. They don't understand deadlines, bills, or the weight of your past. But they sense when your shoulders droop a little more than usual, when your voice doesn't have its usual brightness, when your eyes linger on something far away. They won't ask questions. They won't offer advice. But they will stay. They'll curl beside you without expecting anything. They'll press their body close, as if to shield you from a sadness they can't name but fully feel. They'll purr, not to distract you, but to offer a rhythm when your world feels out of sync. To them, Your emotions don't need to be explained. Your silence is enough. In your stillness, they find a place to speak their love. Not through words, but through unwavering presence. They don't judge what they don't understand. They simply stay close, reminding you with every heartbeat, you are not alone. 13. You're not just a person. You're the foundation to the outside world. You may be just a pet owner, a name on a vet file, a person feeding a cat, but to your cat, you are the center of their universe, not the food bowl, not the toys, not the blanket. You are the one who always returns, the one who speaks even when no one answers, the one who understands routines, who forgives forgotten treats, who never stops showing up. In a world that shifts constantly, you are the fixed point. They don't define you by your role. They don't need you to be perfect. They feel your heartbeat when you hold them. They recognize the effort in your daily care. They see the human who tries, even when tired, the one who loves quietly but deeply. And so, they choose you. Not because they need to, but because they want to. And once they do, that choice becomes permanent. It's not based on appearance or usefulness or expectations. It's rooted in connection. And for your cat, that connection is everything. 14. They believe you belong to them. This might sound funny to people who don't understand cats, but for them, love often comes with ownership. Not in a controlling way, but in a protective, possessive, sacred one. When your cat rubs their scent on you, curls into your clothes, follows you to the bathroom, or watches you from the shadows, they're marking territory. Not to claim power, but to declare, this one is mine. You are part of their identity. You are stitched into their daily rhythm. They remember where you sat, how you walked, what you sounded like when you laughed. Your absence feels like something missing. Your presence is what makes their world feel intact. To them, you don't just share space. You belong in it. With them, beside them, part of them, always. 15. What they see is not your face. It's your soul. At the end of all the science, behaviors, and explanations, what truly defines your place in your cat's heart is not what you look like or even what you do. It's what you carry. They see your intention. They feel your heart, not just its rhythm, but its weight. They remember the days you sat quietly in sadness, and they were there. They remember the nights you smiled more and they leaned closer. Your cat doesn't care about your job title. They won't notice the clothes you wear, but they will notice when your breathing changes, when your routine shifts, when your hands are colder than usual. Because in every part of their being they are watching you with a softness the world rarely gives, a kind of silent loyalty that doesn't need to be earned. It's simply offered, freely, faithfully. So when your cat looks at you, what they see isn't a human. They see safety, familiarity, comfort, love. They see a heartbeat that matches their own. They see the person who stayed. 16. They notice your patterns and mirror your energy. Your cat may not speak, but they are keen observers. Over time, they've memorized your patterns, the sound of your footsteps, the way you close a door, the routine you follow every morning, even the ones you don't realize you have. But it goes beyond watching. They adjust themselves to your rhythm. If you move slower, they move slower. If you spend more time in bed, they'll join you. If your energy feels off, they don't run away. They come closer, not out of curiosity, but out of quiet concern. They don't need to understand the details. They just feel the shift. And without a word, they match it. Because for your cat, connection means alignment. And their way of loving you is by syncing with you, even in silence. 17. Your pain is their stillness. There's something sacred in the way cats respond to pain, not their own, but yours. If you've ever cried alone and felt a small body press up against you, if you've ever curled into yourself and found a paw resting gently on your back, then you've experienced this truth. Cats don't try to fix pain. They don't interrupt it. They join it. Quietly, softly, fully. It's not because they understand your sadness the way people do. It's because they understand you. And that's enough. So when you're hurting, your cat doesn't disappear. They become more present. They reduce their movement, lower their voice, sit longer, stay closer. They become a stillness that wraps around you without demanding anything back. And sometimes, that stillness says more than words ever could. 18. Your voice becomes their anchor. You may not notice it, but your cat does. The way your voice sounds when you're happy, tired, distracted, or calm. Over time, your voice becomes an emotional anchor for them. It signals safety, stability, home. Some cats even respond only to the specific tone you use when you speak to them, one that's softer, slower, filled with warmth. It's a voice you don't use with anyone else, not even intentionally, but they recognize it, and they wait for it. When your cat hears that familiar sound, they're reassured. Even if you've been away for hours, a single word from you can settle them. Your voice has become the melody they associate with peace. That's why, sometimes, they'll meow, just to hear you answer. It's not noise. It's confirmation. You're still here. I'm still safe. 19. They choose you again. Everyday cats are often described as independent. But what people miss is that independence doesn't mean indifference. Cats don't need constant attention, but that makes the moments they do give you even more meaningful. Each time your cat curls up beside you, rests their chin on your arm, or waits at the door, they're choosing you. Not once, not by habit, but every single day. They could hide under the bed. They could retreat to another room. They could be distant, but they don't. They stay near. They sit close. They return. This choice, repeated day after day in the smallest of ways, is one of the purest forms of devotion, and it means more than most people will ever realize. 20. They've built a world around you, not because they have to, but because they want to. Your cat's world is smaller than yours. It doesn't stretch across continents or even across cities. It's built around you, your scent, your habits, your warmth. They know where you usually sit, the time you tend to wake up, the sound of your keys, your breathing, your presence behind a door. These details, tiny and invisible to others, are the architecture of their entire reality. They don't stay because they're trapped. They stay because their world makes sense with you in it. To them, you are not just someone who feeds them or plays with them. You are the thread that holds the fabric of their daily life together. You are the rhythm they walk by, the calm they return to, the warmth they wait for. So now you know. When your cat looks at you, they don't see your flaws, your tired eyes, your messy hair, or your stress. They don't care about what the world says you should be. They see you, the consistent one, the kind one, the one who stayed, the one who cared. They see someone who listened even when they couldn't speak, someone who learned their rhythms, respected their space, and celebrated their quirks. They see family. They see home. In their eyes, you are not just a person in the room, you are their person. And in a world that rarely sees us for who we really are, that kind of love is rare, and it's real. If this message touched your heart, leave a comment below and tell us how your cat sees you. Share a story. Describe a moment. Help someone else feel less alone in their quiet connection with their furry friend. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and join our community of people who truly understand that a cat's love isn't loud, but it's powerful, and it changes everything. Tap the next video to keep exploring the world your cat sees, and the bond that grows deeper with every blink, every purr, every silent moment shared.